We have officially wrapped up term 1 in our homeschool year, and we've moved on into term 2. But I wanted to stop and give an update and let you all know how our first term went and how we are liking some of our Charlotte Mason curriculum so far. Hello friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Haley and I am a Christian wife, Charlotte Mason homeschooling mother of 3. And this year we are using Ambleside Online as our main Charlotte Mason curriculum. I have tried to be an Ambleside Online purist and do absolutely everything that their schedule shows, which looks like a lot, but is actually pretty doable and manageable because you really only have to do about 2 to 3 readings a day max. And usually by Friday, you've already wrapped up all of the week's readings except for maybe 1. So overall, my thoughts are that we are loving this curriculum. I'm not switching from Ambleside Online. This will remain our family's main curriculum for all the years to come. I just don't see any reason why we should change it. I have loved every story that we've read. This has been fun for me. I feel like I am redeeming my own education and getting an Ambleside Online education for myself, because many of these great children's classics or great works I never read, or I was never read when I went to public school. So overall, I'm loving Ambleside Online, and I'm really committed to continue to use their curriculum. But I just wanted to talk about some of our favorites. So at the end of our term, right after my daughter finished up her exam, I read off all the different books that we read from, and I asked her which was her favorite one. She said she couldn't pick, she had a hard time, so I allowed her to pick 2. And her favorites were the Aesop for Children, the Aesop's Fables, and then of course the Blue Fairy book by Andrew Lang, which honestly was my favorite too. I loved reading fairy tales, and as a Christian, I didn't really know where we would land on fairy tales and the idea of magic, but I have found that these fairy tales have given me a language to discuss spiritual Christian concepts with my daughter. So, for example, in the fairy tale of Prince Darling, the prince is given a ring to prick his finger anytime he is about to do something wrong. And when we finished up that fairy tale, I had the conversation with my daughter that that's a lot like what conviction is from the Holy Spirit. We will get a pricking or a knowledge or a knowing that what we're about to do is wrong. But just like the prince eventually cast off the ring, we have the ability to choose what we want to do. Do we want to obey that, or do we just want to cast off our conscience and not listen to it at all? And that wasn't the only fairy tale that gave us a language to discuss spiritual concepts with. In the story of the glass slipper, which is Cinderella's ability to forgive her stepsisters, no matter how much wrong they did to her, and still bless them in the end, it's just what Jesus did for us, and it's what we're supposed to do for others. So I'm sold on fairy tales for children. They convey real world truths, even if it is in a magical way, and they give parents a language to talk about spiritual ideas with their children with. Because sometimes maybe the Bible is more difficult to understand, but kids understand fairy tales. You know who the good guy is, you know who the bad guy is, and we have loved this. And then another personal favorite for me was Trial and Triumph. Whether you're doing Ambleside Online or Charlotte Mason, if you are a Christian family, I would highly recommend reading Trial and Triumph with your children. This is a book of Christian martyrs or Christian people of the faith, and they're hard stories because sometimes Christians are killed for their faith. But it's told in a beautiful and inspiring and a hopeful way. This isn't necessarily tragic. Every story ends with the hope and promise of heaven, and I have loved it. I actually read on Reformation Day, which is Halloween, which we don't celebrate, but we do Reformation Day. I read Martin Luther, that was in this book, who is kind of the father of the Reformation, away from the Catholic Church and founding Protestantism. I read that story at our co-op, and one of our students said, "Can you read one of these stories every time?" So that's the power of this book. I highly recommend it. So all in all, Ambleside Online, we're sticking with it. We're going to do everything that they say because we can actually get it done, surprisingly. And I'm just loving it. So I trust them. I'm sold. But what about our other curriculum that we're doing this year? One thing I did add for fun was etiquette and manners lessons. We do this in our morning time. This book is Connoisseur Kids, Etiquette, Manners, and Living Well for Parents and Their Little Ones, written by Jennifer L. Scott, who is known as the Daily Connoisseur on YouTube. I love her YouTube channel. I loved her Madame Chic series, and she recently released a new book as well, I think called Living Well at Home, that I pre-ordered and will be getting in the mail soon. But I wanted her book for children, and my daughter loves this because there are a lot of fun and kind of silly manners games included with these lessons. We just read a page or two a day. I don't spend a whole chapter in a day. I break it up. The book is beautiful and fun and illustrated. She loves the games, and she's actually learning manner concepts. These are things that we should teach our children, but when you're so busy trying to do everything else, it's hard to find the mental space and the time to make sure you're teaching these things. So this is something I've added that's just for fun in our morning time, but that we're loving, and I would highly recommend. The next one breaks my heart a little bit because I was really excited for this curriculum, and I don't know if it's working for us. And I feel really bad, honestly. And that is the Simply Charlotte Mason Elementary Arithmetic Series, Book 1. I'm not sure if this is working for us. I'm not sure if it's a great fit. I am, however, committed to finishing out this curriculum, seeing it through to the end of the year to see how well it does. It's very simple. It requires a lot of mental math. The math equations that are written and spoken orally are beautiful and are simple, but I'm a little concerned if it's almost oversimplified. I just feel like maybe there's gaps or there's things that we should be teaching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish out this curriculum till the end of the year, and I'm going to research the next books in this series to see if it fills in those gaps. For example, it doesn't teach time, and a lot of first grade math options do teach time and other things. For example, the way we're learning addition, it's hard for me to explain. I just feel like there's gaps. I just feel like there are concepts that I have learned or we have seen in a preschool or kindergarten math curriculum that were introduced that helped her in math. And I feel like this might be regressing her a little bit. So I'm sad about that because I was really excited about this curriculum. And I don't know if it's a good fit for us. So if you have a really good math program, specifically that works in the Charlotte Mason world, please leave your recommendations below. I'm going to stick through this to the end, and I'm going to research the next math books. But I also might be switching our math curriculum next year. That's sad. Another resource that I purchased from Simply Charlotte Mason that I love is Speaking Spanish with Miss Mason and Francois, Volume 1. I love this Spanish book. The way we're approaching it, I'm not doing one of these lessons every single day. I'm not doing that. We're breaking this down very small and just working on a line a day of learning and growing in Spanish. And she has learned Spanish. And what I like about this is that it's also spiritual and Christian. So far we've only made it through the first 4 Spanish series, which isn't very far. I think this book can last us a long time, which is great. But she's already learned how to say a Bible verse in Spanish. Psalm 16:1, we've learned that one in English and in Spanish. So I love that. I love this Spanish curriculum. It's very gentle. I love the method. I would highly recommend it. We are enjoying it, and we're indeed learning Spanish. I am as well. And it comes with an audio. So if you're concerned about being able to pronounce the Spanish words correctly, you do get a downloadable audio that teaches the mother teacher how to speak Spanish properly. And then the final piece of curriculum I'm using this year that I have loved is Gentle Grammar, an adaptation of new language exercises for primary schools by C.C. Long. This is basically just an open and go copywork, gentle introduction to grammar. It's very cheap on Amazon and I love it. There are days where it's hard to think about copywork, but it's not just copywork because it's called Gentle Grammar. So how does that work exactly? For example, when learning questions, the copywork is very question focused. And you just ask your child to notice, are you using is or are for this particular type of question? You always write a question mark at the end. There's not much to it. The lessons are simple and easy, but it's been an open and go, truly gentle introduction to grammar. I mean, you're not opening this up and harping on technique. It more just helps your child observe and notice how things are written and the punctuation that's used. And I love this, and I would highly recommend this. There are several books in this series, so next year I'm definitely going to get level 2 of Gentle Grammar because I love this. So far our first term went great. She did really well on her term exams, which Ambleside Online does have for you, and the Simply Charlotte Mason Math series also has an exam for you for the end of each term. She did great on her exams. Her history narrations were a couple of sentences, but she got the summaries right. But her literature narrations, she memorized almost the whole thing. I had to go to the back page for her literature narrations, specifically the fairy tale she had to recite. She remembered the whole thing, which I think is very telling of how well narration and this method works. So Charlotte Mason's definitely for us. Ambleside Online is definitely for us. I love most of the extras that I bought. The only place we're struggling with is math and handicrafts. I'm not great about staying on top of handicrafts. But other than those two things, this school year is going so well so far. So I hope that this little update was helpful for you if you are looking for curriculums to consider in the upcoming years of your homeschool. And if y'all have any suggestions or anything that you're loving, please let me know in the comments below. And Lord willing, I will see y'all next time. Happy homeschooling, friends.